Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this Truth Train picking up speed on your favorite podcast platform. I'm sitting here with maybe the final solution of humanity.
For pretty much every problem.
There's a lot of problems going on. There are tariffs. There are wars. There are sable rattling. There are economic trade wars.
Yes.
But nothing is worse than the war that you have inside of you.
That's true.
Because you did call me today, and you did say that you can probably tell us yourself you're close to something.
I am. I've officially given up.
Yeah.
But the extent to which, I think I'm going to shut down my whole operation. I can't go on.
Okay, so why? Explain to the listeners why you're shutting down.
Well, I believe it's the Titanic soundtrack where they have that song "My Heart Will Go On."
Right.
Well, it's the opposite of that. Nothing is continuing. I mean, obviously, the Truth Train will keep moving forward because it doesn't do anything but pick up speed.
The opposite of the Titanic song "Heart Will Go On."
Yeah, no, but
that is a heart attack.
No, but it's just in general, I can't go on in this environment.
What environment specifically?
Well, I've been saving my inevitable unaliving treatment in Switzerland ordering for after this podcast, just in case maybe we can resolve something and create some hope within me.
Yeah, because you did buy a season pass to that clinic.
Yeah, like most people buy a ski pass.
Yeah.
I have a season pass to an unaliving clinic in Switzerland.
I'm going to Switzerland. Oh, skiing? No, I have a pod.
I just need to know I have an out. Right, like you say, through a personal pod.
Yeah, like there's a pod you go into, and then you can unalive yourself.
Pod me out of here.
Pod me out.
So anyway, I just thought I'd wait to make the call till after this podcast, because then I can number one, I can introduce you to our new sponsor, and number two, I want to discuss why is it that unstable, crazy people always attack the wrong people. They always attack nice people who don't deserve to be attacked. Why aren't they attacking the people that deserve to be attacked?
Right.
And finally, the fact that the reason I'm seeking a pod at the moment is because people are not curious about anything, and people are so certain, and I can't go on in this environment.
Okay, so you don't want to continue this life, or you're not enthusiastic about life anymore because of people think they know everything?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
I'll give you a perfect example.
Please.
So I met a guy the other day, and he's a university professor. And he said, I was going to go back to the States, but I can't because everyone in the States has become crazy now. And it's so goddamn dismissive. It's just, 200 million people are crazy. Unlike me, I'm super smart.
Right.
And here's the thing. To put it this way, if over 50% of my country turned Nazi overnight, I wouldn't say they're all idiots. I would be pretty curious. Why are they all embracing National Socialism? To quote The Big Lebowski, say what you will about National Socialism, dude, at least it's an ethos.
Yes, at least.
But I would be very, very curious. Another thing is I met a guy at a party, and he said, so Elon Musk is a Nazi now. And I go, okay, but why? It's so, again, it's dismissive. Why aren't you more curious about why a guy who was going to solve the climate crisis became a Nazi overnight? There's no curiosity. It's, he's crazy now, unlike me, who's super smart. And it's very difficult for me to go on in this environment. I'm the first to admit, maybe I'm the biggest idiot of them all, but at least I have a curiosity about things. And the fact that people just listen to the news and they go, oh, that's the way it is, without any ability to go, isn't that strange that Elon Musk became a Nazi overnight?
Which, first of all, I don't think he's not a Nazi because he's working in an administration, Trump administration, that is very, very pro Israel.
Very pro.
Right? And he's not really walking around in the halls in the White House with a machine gun. He walks around with a chainsaw, but not a machine gun. like shooting those people. Like he's not. Obviously, he's not. I think the problem is that people. It's such an easy. Like you don't have to think about it anymore. First of all, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you because it's such a. You don't have to. Don't have to defend anything anymore.
Yeah.
He's just a thing. He's like, or not Elon, but like everybody.
Yeah.
Or he's a racist, so we don't have to listen to him.
Yeah.
Or he's a Nazi, or he's a right winger, let's say. Like the discussion is over now. And
or like that's a conspiracy theory. I was talking to a teacher who proceeded to say to me, "Wait a minute, you didn't get the COVID vaccine. Why not? Are you one of those anti-vaxxers?" And it's like, what does that even mean, anti-vaccine? Like, the idea of a vaccine is the most genius thing ever created, you know? And it started with, like, cowpox, I believe, where the milkmaids didn't get cowpox because they had been, they'd already been exposed to it kind of thing. So the idea of a vaccine is genius. But when you have vaccines that simply don't work and only make people sicker, that's when you should be able to go, oh, that vaccine is bad and this one is good. But it's not like that. It's just like either you love them or you hate them. So I said, no, of course I didn't get it. It's a shitty vaccine that didn't help anybody and wasn't necessary. And everyone who got it and was telling people to get it are fundamentally making me seek a pod. And then I asked her, why? Do you regret getting yours? And then she just like... basically looked at me like I was human garbage.
Right.
And if there were concentration camps, I think she would be very eager to send me to one just for thinking the wrong thing.
Well, I think an answer, if people ask you a question, did you get the vaccine? The answer is not recently. Have you gotten a booster? And if people say no, then what are you, an anti-vaxxer? Because like you have to have the boosters to keep the vaccine in your body, because when you've taken it, you're not cured.
No, you got a boost.
It's a therapeutic. It's not a vaccine.
That's right.
They actually had to change the definition of what a vaccine is during the pandemic. That's a completely different story. At least that in America that happened. I don't know if that happened in England or in Switzerland, your favorite country now.
Yes.
Due to the pod.
Where I spend most of my time in a pod waiting room.
Yeah.
Just so I have the option.
But I would push back that it didn't help. And it probably helped somebody, I would imagine. Like people who had like comorbidities, who were like probably like they should have. What do I know? But I think that it was useless for healthy people to take it. And I think Sweden proved that.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is this. Like, I understand why people took it, and I understand why people didn't take it. I understand why people took one and stopped, and I understand why people still take them now.
Right.
So, but the thing is, like, when you can only see one side of something, and you go, I'm a genius, because I'm very proud of not being interested in what the other side is thinking.
Yeah, I agree.
And there was there was a guy he was explaining to me why Kamala Harris was the greatest presidential candidate of all time. And I was just asking him questions. He didn't ask me one thing. And then I asked him at the very end, I said, can you understand why people would vote for Trump? He goes, no. And I'm very proud that I have no interest in knowing why. Okay. And that's when I seek a pod. That's when I go, listen, can you put me up for the next pod session? Because I can't be here anymore.
But explain to me how that works.
the pod?
Explain the logic here. Like I'm not against you going to Switzerland.
No, of course
and checking out for one last time.
Right.
I'm not against it.
Right.
Yeah. I salute that.
Right.
Like, I'll join you. I'll come with you. I'll buy chocolate and go home again.
Nice.
And you're like, where's Dex? Did he come? No, he didn't make it.
But I have this Toblerone.
Yes, but I have chocolate.
Yes.
And
no, but it's just that my rage is now crippling me.
Right.
I can't breathe. I can't function. Like, just here's the thing. It would be one thing if all these people who can't see things from different perspectives, who can't question anything, they're just like, Teslas are Nazi now. And it's like, but your big problem 2 years ago was climate change. And now your big problem is that the solution to climate change is too Nazi for you. Like, and all I'm saying is, being around these people, it would be one thing if they said, like, look, we're all brain damaged and we're trying our best. Then I could function. But it's the fact that they walk around being like, I'm super educated, like, I believe the right stuff, And like, oh man, what I wouldn't give for a government-sanctioned psychopath to scare the shit out of these people, to make them go, why is this happening to me? You know, maybe I should consider other perspectives, as was mentioned in episode 5 about government-sanctioned psychopaths.
100%. But also, I would say that after a while, a car like Tesla, which is like a Nazi car for the moment, the same thing happened to Volkswagen,
And
right?
And Ford probably.
And I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was a rabid anti-Semite.
Yeah, he was anti. Really.
He had a newsletter.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, after a while, it's people forget Volkswagen. Hitler made
At any given time, there's always a Nazi car.
There's always a Nazi car. Right? That never changes.
Right. It's always one car or another.
But like now they chose Tesla.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
The car that was saving the world is now on fire because of the Nazis.
Yeah.
Explain that logic.
Right.
Let's incinerate a car that is run on batteries, that is helping the climate. But the car is made by a guy who has a right-wing policy or a mindset.
Yeah.
And now burning that car is a statement. Like, I don't quite
Here's what really bothers me. The guy is trying to cut some government spending, and then people are burning down Teslas and Tesla dealerships, and they're keying Tesla cars and writing huge swastikas on Teslas, and throwing garbage at people driving Teslas, and keep in mind, these were heroes 2 years ago because they were like saving us from so-called climate change.
Yes.
Now, all this destructive energy, all this hatred, I mean, this is extremely unstable people capable of extraordinary damage. Why aren't they like using it for good? Why aren't they going after gang members with this energy? Why aren't they going after like Salvadorian human trafficking networks with this energy?
It's difficult.
But seriously, burning down like their clubhouses and their huge drug warehouses, and like.
Yeah, but that you have to make an effort. You have to do something else than just watching CNN. So you have to do something else than just like watching the news.
You mean it requires more research to find out who to correctly attack?
Yeah. Like listen, these people are watching the TV screen, and people are saying that this is happening, and he's destroying the planet Earth. Right?
Okay, fine. Let me just one better example. A couple of years ago, there was a really unstable drug addict guy who got on a tram and stabbed random people.
Right.
Why doesn't he take that energy, go to North Korea, and try to assassinate Kim Jong-un?
That I do agree with.
Yeah, but like, what's his problem? Put it this way: unstable psychiatric patients who are violent. Like, what's their problem?
I never understood the shooters of the school situation.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
They always go to or like even like kindergartens and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why do they go to the least? I don't know, like the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather go where there's the most resistance?
Right. I mean, because obviously you think you want to be somebody.
Right. But like, what is the? I mean, again, say what you want about the attempt on Trump's life in Butler, Ohio.
Right.
Right. But that guy, I'm not condoning it. I'm not pro that shooter.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
But that guy, at least he did something. Like he went to the top of who you could like. Again, I'm against shooting presidents.
Yeah.
I am. Don't do it, kids.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. But this guy, he went like that. If you need an inspiration for the shooters out there, like the lone shooter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't go into a
vegan restaurant,
unprotected place.
That's right. Yeah.
Don't go to unprotected schools or whatever. Like, if you want to go there, go to, as you said, go to North Korea. Like, go on holiday.
Yeah.
Smuggle in a gun. Go for go towards the you know,
Hey, don't shoot up a McDonald's. Shoot up the Federal Reserve. You know what I mean?
no. No, but if you want to start a war, go to war against the right people.
Yeah.
Don't go, like don't.
But isn't it a shame that all the unstable psychopaths who have escaped psychiatric wards, they go after like nice children or like family members or like nice law-abiding people? Why don't they go after dictators or human trafficking people or drug traffickers?
And that is the goal with this podcast.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of those listeners.
Exclusively.
They love this podcast.
Exclusively.
They tune in to this podcast to like, who am I killing now?
For instructions.
Who am I for instructions? Who am I unaliving today? Get your daily unaliving newsletter. So, but I'm just saying.
No.
We are trying to steer people in the right direction.
And also encouraging them to set bigger goals.
Think big. Because usually it's always a suicide mission. It's always a suicide mission going into like a lone gunman situation, right?
Yeah.
You always get caught, or you never leave the area.
I think Columbine is kind of a blueprint for how it usually plays out.
Yeah. You go in there, you cause a ruckus, and then you get shot yourself,
Yeah.
or you kill yourself.
Yeah.
Unalive yourself.
That's right.
That's the new word.
That's the word we like.
So the point here is, if you need to go to war, go pick on somebody your own size or somebody bigger.
Or somebody bigger.
Don't go downwards. What's wrong with you?
That's right.
Like, I want to be remembered. Yeah, but don't do that.
No.
Look, you go into the
Leave the middle schools to the state-sanctioned psychopaths who deal with bullying.
Or Boko Haram. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Boko Haram?
No.
You haven't heard of them?
No.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's a fundamentalist group in North Africa,
Right.
who kidnaps people and like recruits
Child soldiers.
They only and they're Boko Haram. That means like learning is shame, right? Like they're against books and learning and all that stuff, right? So it's just pure Quran. That's the only book.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
These are the people.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily agree with everything they stand for.
Right.
But if you want to pick a fight with somebody, go against somebody like that.
Yeah.
Because they want that war. Right? They are kind of like, they're not peaceful.
Yeah.
Let's say, right? So I think you should go, like if you want to be a lone gunman, bring some books, go to that area. You know, there's a guy handing out Bibles in your area.
That's right.
Like that, now you got to fight.
Gun and a Bible.
Gun and a that's what you need. You need a gun and a Bible.
And direction.
And directions and a map.
That's
3 things.
Yeah, where X marks the right spot. But in all seriousness,
Right.
the government, like I've spoken to people who live at these sort of psychiatric facilities. So what do they do with violent psychopaths? They pump them full of antipsychotics, and then there's like 4 or 5 people at any given time watching them. It costs so much money to keep them in sort of like a padded environment, and yet they're still like breaking TVs and they're throwing food in the wall, and
Right.
you know, they just have to, like, no one's allowed to intervene, and it costs so much money, and like nothing is getting done. Why don't they take these people off the meds and send them down to Afghanistan as an example? Like, why aren't these people being utilized by the government?
We have talked about this in a completely different scenario, but we are canceling people at a rate that I've never seen before, and we're not using them. We're just ostracizing them out of society.
Yeah.
Like Army Hammer. Is it Arnie or Army?
Army.
Army with Army Hammer. He had some sexual content that went into the public. People knew about what he was sending his girlfriends. Like, I wanted to eat you, I want to own you, blah blah. And like, oh my God, he's horrible. Like, if everybody's texts were leaked, I mean, there would be nobody left, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can always like turn it into like whatever. Like, I don't write that stuff myself. I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna what. Like, I always keep it more logistical. Like, hey, delivery at 5, right? Stuff like that.
Yeah. DHL language.
Yes, like I talk logistical language.
Nice.
Like, I don't like, hey, I'm owning you. Like, more like, I have a package that you have your name on it. Like, stuff like that.
Right.
Right? Like, what is this? Like, yeah, he texted me this. Oh, he's expecting a package? No, it's a right. Like, you can't use that against anyone. Right.
Right.
So,
You're always prepared.
I'm always prepared.
Yeah.
No, but the point is, like, he because I sympathize with Army Hammer. I think I've been listening to him. I've seen some interviews with him, and they canceled him. And I think it wasn't right. He had a drug problem. He was like sleeping with women left and right, and driving around fully like drugged out of his mind and stuff. And like, oh my God, he was like stamped. Like, they stamped him as like he's a what was it again? He's a cannibal. He wanted to eat flesh or like. No. But he wrote that. Yeah, I'm going to eat your head or whatever he said, right?
Right.
Like, let the guy live. Let him, like, express insane thoughts, right? Anyway, we can't use him for anymore. He can't play in movies anymore. He's out of Hollywood. He's out of the business. We can't use him. We can't use people for anything. So what I agree with you. We could use those people. We could put them in the front of the war, right? And then they can gain their respect back. Like, they can okay, if you go to Ukraine and fight on behalf of the Americans without like being part of the American army, right? You can actually become somebody. Like, you can eat people there. Then people will respect you again. If Army Hammer went to Ukraine
To eat people.
to start eating Russian soldiers, the Democrats would start loving him again.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. So but that's the thing, like with bureaucracies, is they never utilize things.
Exactly.
Right? So it's about utilizing resources, right? You got a cannibal, right? Who's eating people. And then you
Right.
go, oh, that's terrible. Is it? Get him to eat the right people.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And in the same way,
Same with Weinstein. He's sexually harassing people. Well, can't he just sexually harass Russian soldiers? Promising them parts and massages and stuff?
that's right.
Like, hey, hey, you're Harvey Weinstein, right? Yeah, I speak Russian. Do you have any parts for a Russian guy? Do I ever?
That's right.
Why don't you sit down here and lube up?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll lube you right down.
He's on the battlefield sexually harassing the enemy.
And then Putin says, and he asked him, well, why don't you want to fight anymore? I don't feel like it. I feel violated.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Weinstein has gained the confidence back and can start producing again.
That's right.
Have you seen Hollywood after Weinstein disappeared? Have you seen that? Every movie is shit now.
That's true.
Every movie is shit.
That's true.
And that's because he wanted too many actresses to massage him.
That's right.
He kind of ruined Hollywood.
Kind of, basically. But the fact remains, this guy, he's stabbing people on a tram in the middle of the city. He's all deranged. He's going after moms and children.
Yeah.
Just the second you see a guy, delusional, go for a knife, send him to the battlefield, and he can be walking around deranged there, trying to stab soldiers. So it's a sad, sad fact that we have to figure this out for the government. And they won't even take us on as consultants.
They won't even pick up the phone when we try to tell them this.
And not only that, but people are already sending us their manifestos. They should pick up the phone.
Why isn't the government calling us?
That's right.
Hey, by the way, we saw that you had a lot of manifestos coming in your way.
Yeah.
Can you pinpoint us? Can you show us some people that we need to look out for?
That's right.
There's no interest.
Yeah, but
There's no interest.
Hey, based on the manifestos, you could find out who you should send into the battlefield and not also,
100%.
Good Lord.
So what I'm trying to say here, that we can use the people who have violated the rules.
Yeah.
okay, Army Hammer, he had a bad behavior.
Strap him to a tank.
Strap him to
And
a...
he can you just drive into huge hordes and he's eating them.
Eating the soldiers.
That's right. That's right.
That's a talent that we can use for something.
That's right.
Okay, it doesn't work in Hollywood, but can we use that somewhere else?
Yeah.
Bill Cosby. Can we put him into a war zone where he drugs people down and touches them?
Yeah. Or to put it this way, I'm not here to say that I know how that benefits a war, but somebody does.
Somebody smarter than us.
That's right. Somebody a lot smarter than us could use Bill Cosby for his talents.
Send him in.
That's right.
Like, hey, we send Bill Cosby in to entertain the troops in Russia. He drugs them down and touches them.
That's right.
Are you now against him touching people? He's touching the right people, right?
For the right
because
reasons.
you want to kill them, but now he's violating them. Isn't that what you want? Like in this war zone? Or now the guy they want to kill. This guy, what is his name? Luigi Mangiani?
They want to kill him?
Yeah, they want to give him the death penalty.
For what?
For shooting the CEO.
Oh, this is the healthcare CEO.
Yeah.
Right.
Where do you live?
Oh, man, you don't even want to know.
Luigi, isn't that the name? Luigi?
Yeah,
Mangione?
That's right. That's right.
Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, they want to kill him now. Okay, but can we send him into... Can we send him into Syria first?
Or like, I'm thinking like this. There's drug cartels in Mexico.
Exactly.
And if you can take out the CEO, good things can happen. We can shut down the fentanyl for at least a day.
Listen.
Send in Mangione. He knows how to find the CEO. He can pinpoint the CEO, and he can take out the CEO.
Yeah, hey, Mangione, we now know that you love killing CEOs.
That's his thing, yeah.
You love it. That's your favorite thing. You even wake up early in the morning to do it. Okay?
Yeah.
So we have a proposition for you. Okay? And here's the deal. Not shooting people in New York in the morning on a way to a meeting. But imagine yourself, and we can do this with MK Ultra, hypnosis, and that kind of stuff, right? CIA got this figured out many years ago. We brainwash him into thinking that and by the way, he's against like people ruining people's health. That's his big thing. That's his cause, right? They didn't want to pay for people's health care. Well, here's another one. Here's a guy who's creating a drug problem in the U.S., which, like, you know, and then requires health care, blah, blah, blah. If you kill the narco leader, then we can look at your case again, right?
Yeah.
I think we can make a deal.
That's right.
We can make a deal.
Let's make a deal.
Let's make a deal.
Yeah.
We can make it into a TV show as well. We put all these people who are now canceled by society.
That's right.
We can make a deal.
Yeah.
Like, put it on prime time, NBC.
Let me ask you this. If you were a dictator and you started getting aggressive toward other countries, what would scare you more? That they were sending in an army? Because you have your own army. Or they were sending in an army of unstable mental patients.
I would be scared of the mental patients.
Right? Who isn't?
Or
And
like if they empty their
psychiatric wards.
Yeah, and canceled people.
Yeah.
You're sending the canceled.
Yeah.
Send in the canceled.
Send in the canceled. Right. To take care of this problem.
And when you send them in, then you don't know what to do. Like, okay, the society, like, okay, everybody in America hates these people, but they're fighting the war, which makes us love them because the Americans hate them, but they want to kill us because they want to come back into society in America. So I don't know what to do here, right? And also, these are psychopaths. Like, these are charming human beings. All of these people who we mentioned are charming people.
That's right.
Do you think Harvey Weinstein was a crazy guy at the Oscar parties? No, he was a charming guy. Everybody wanted to talk to him. Everybody wanted a role, wanted to escalate. Like, I have a project I want to discuss with you. Really? Come on in, right? There's always like, he's a charming guy. And then, he was like, okay, I'm He wanted to have a massage and he wanted to sleep with the people,
Yeah.
right? And which I think is a wrong thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But we're wasting a talent here.
That's right. And
We're wasting a talent.
And not only that, but I'd just like to say that, like, taking all the violent people and not only canceling them, but you put them in prison as well, where no one can see them. Why don't you make a Thunderdome?
Right.
And you put them all in there and they fight each other to death.
Yes.
Like the Hunger Games.
Right.
And everybody comes to watch. And it's kind of like, remember back in the day, you had Grand Prix, which is now called Eurovision Song Contest?
Right.
Everybody watched that every single year. And it would be like that, the Thunderdome murder.
Yeah.
Purge.
The murderers from France is going to compete against the murderers in Scandinavia. Or Italy. Who's the best murderer?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they come out there in their like gay costumes.
Yeah.
And then they just stab each other. And then like, oh, well, Denmark won.
That's right.
And then Ireland won last year.
Yeah.
But they died now in the last round.
Yeah, and then you go out either fighting or you go out a champion.
Right.
But then when these people have to go out canceled, they're resentful and they don't get to use their talent for anything. So I think this is a very good thing, and it also comes back to this, like, anyone listening to this right now going like, "Oh, what they're saying is so stupid." Again, where's the curiosity? Where's the curiosity? It was Christopher Hitchens. He said many, many years ago, he said, if you walk into a room and someone is there denying the Holocaust, that's the most important person in the room.
Why
Because you should be very interested in why they're risking their reputation and everything making such a claim. Be curious about people who say crazy things. And today, when you have this sort of like, oh, that's a conspiracy theorist, like, again, it makes me, seek out a pod in Switzerland, because the arrogance, or let me put it to you this way. The people I see who are the most arrogant and the most obnoxious and the most certain, human insecurity and overcompensating for insecurity and fear plays itself out into the world in human behavior that is so goddamn unappealing that it's unbelievable. And most people are living their lives as some sort of marketing campaign, like, I'm really smart, or like, I'm really rich, or like, I'm really good at this or that, or whatever the fuck it is. Like, a doctor is a good example. I was last summer, or 3 years ago, I met a doctor. She was like the main doctor of a huge hospital. And I came up to her and I started asking her about drugs. I know a lot about drugs, especially pharmaceuticals. And I asked her about maybe 250 drugs in the course of 45 minutes. And she was just answering them. Oh, that drug? Definitely. We do this, we do that, we don't do that, and it's that way, and it's that way. And now, not at one point did you say, how the hell do you know every single drug ever created in the past 50 years? Who are you? Like, how do you know all this? Why are you asking me these? Not once. She was just answering it like, oh, yeah, definitely. I will bless you with my wisdom. And that is the kind of stuff that makes me go home and like almost like tie a noose. I mean, just I can't go on. But now that I have like a full-time card at the pod place, I can relax a bit more. But people like that make me want to die.
Don't you want to see Michael Jackson's doctors let loose in the Ukraine, in the Donbass area? Isn't that what you want to see?
That's what I want to see.
Don't you want to see Anthony Fauci running around in Luhansk?
Doing gain of function.
Doing gain of function on the Russian soldiers.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you want to see?
Yeah.
But now he's canceled by the right.
Yeah.
And the left is canceling the other guy and the other one. And just they're canceling each other out.
Yeah.
Send them into a dome or to the war zone.
Yeah.
And that doctor you talked about, send her into.
Yeah.
She knows everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And by the way, why the fuck do you know everything about pills and shit?
Because I've been on them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
But the fact that she didn't ask, right?
Maybe she suspected, like, okay, this guy has,
No. I knew too much. I knew more than her. And I was just testing her. She didn't know anything.
This is the funny thing about drug addicts. They are proud to know a lot about drugs.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I know so much about drugs.
Right.
Like, why do you brag about? I know everything about the problems that I'm causing.
Oh, it's just in this case, it's I've been on them and I've gone off them. And the story is nowhere near what the doctors think it is.
Well,
Yeah.
I have a clip for you. While we're on the, we've been talking about testosterone a lot in this podcast.
Who hasn't
I mean,
these days?
People should talk more about it. Okay, so here's a clip about testosterone that I think people need to know. Okay. Why does it never sound on this?
Here's what it actually does. Take 5 male rhesus.
Sorry,
It was called the narcissist off.
Okay, here we go.
Testosterone doesn't make you aggressive. Here's what it actually does. Take 5 male rhesus monkeys, put them in a group, let them form a dominance hierarchy. A defeats B 3 times, B never defeats A. This is the hierarchy. Now take C and inject C with testosterone. Give C like so much testosterone, like every amygdaloid neuron is growing antlers in that guy, just enormous. So now does C get involved in more fights? Absolutely. Is this the pattern that occurs now? Is C suddenly challenging A and B and rising in the heart? Absolutely not. C never does a thing with A and B. What happens instead is C becomes a total nightmare to D and E. Testosterone does not invent aggression. Testosterone exaggerates pre-existing social patterns of aggression. What testosterone really does is when your status is being challenged, testosterone makes you do whatever you need to do to maintain status. You can have an economic game where people get status by making generous offers and give people testosterone and they become more generous in the game. In other words, if you shot up a whole bunch of Buddhist monks with testosterone, they would run amok doing random acts of kindness all over the place. The trouble isn't that testosterone makes us aggressive. The trouble is that we reward aggression with status so readily. Testosterone.
Okay, so that's Dr. Robert Sapolsky. He's a neuroscientist.
Telling us what we finally need to hear.
Which means that basically testosterone doesn't make you a crazy guy, but it helps you when you are challenged.
Yeah.
That's what it does. It doesn't. If me and you, which are huge testosterone bombs, by the way.
Yeah.
We don't need extra, by the way. We're just like, we're full of it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as we're not challenged, everybody's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I took from this.
But if you challenge this podcast,
Oh my God.
you don't even want to know.
You don't want to know.
I've always said that my dream, I talk to people, right? No big deal. I don't like to brag, but I talk to people.
I've seen you've talked to many people.
I talk to people.
Like I saw you once, you talked to him, and yeah.
Yeah, so you're a witness.
I am.
But anyway, a lot of women have a tendency to say like, "Oh my God, my dream first date is like a fancy dinner, and it's this and it's that, and it's like, oh my God, a guy showing max effort and this and that." I think in this world where people have no economic sense whatsoever, my dream date would be going to a discount store. And not only a discount like furniture store or something like that, but I'm talking about a discount food store.
Right.
In this country that we're in, which is undisclosed, by the way, there is a store with expired food products, right? Now, my dream date, first date, would be to go to a store like that and be like, whoa, look at this deal. Oh, my God, look at that deal. You know what that usually costs? And I suspect that's because I have so much testosterone that I am sort of at the top of the pyramid. Because if you're buying dinners and doing all this stuff, it's all a lot of insecurity. But if you're comfortable going to a discount food store with food that's just 2 minutes away from expiring, you don't have a lot to prove. And that's like Monkey See in that example. Would you not agree?
I would agree with that. But can I just challenge you a little bit on the discount store philosophy? Which it is a philosophy.
I would say ideology, but whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the reason you want to bring a woman to a discount store, it is actually more about the test. Because if she can like you after you have taken her to a discount store on the first date, this is the first activity you do together.
Yes.
And she's like, yeah, this is actually good. Expired eggs, expired ham, expired chicken. And she's enthusiastic about it. You can feel a connection to this person because it's not a snobbish person, right?
That's right.
Oh my God, I can't eat expired water or drink it. You know, I can't do that. So I think it's about you bringing, because it's shameful trying to save money on a date. But if you're trying to save money on a date and she likes it, that's a keeper for you.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cheaper to just go for a walk and buy a coffee than it is to go and actually buy expired stuff.
Yeah, but if you buy the expired sausages and save money on it, and she's enthusiastic, like, you have now nothing to hide.
Yes.
And she's a keeper.
Listen, here's what really bothers me. And I'm quoting you because you said this many eons ago.
Right.
You know, you go on a dating app, an example, everybody says, like, my hobbies are eating at expensive restaurants and traveling. And you're just like, oh my God, you're so unique. So everyone at any given time is so phenomenally uninteresting that they feel they need to travel places to make themselves interesting. So you'll see a lot of people say, like, I've been to 34 countries and my plan is to go to Japan next. Who wants to come? Like that kind of.
Yeah.
Now, obviously they hate me because I've been in I was in 100 countries before I was like 18, you know what I mean? So obviously they can't have anything to do with me if that's their whole game. But the real flex, having been everywhere, having been an addict, having been famous and lost everything, I can tell you, the real flex is being able to just enjoy yourself in a normal, everyday situation, taking out the garbage. Life is primarily taking out the garbage. And the more you're trying to convince yourself that you're like a traveler who's like super cool, like it's unhuman what you're doing, okay? Being human is being max pathetic, crying in the fetal position, and taking out the garbage and going to a discount store. You understand?
Yeah.
And finding the joy in it.
Yeah.
If you need to travel, you've misunderstood everything, and I fundamentally dislike your entire ideology so much that I can't sleep at night and I'm looking at pod brochures. So, going to a discount store on a first date is the test. Are you able to enjoy yourself doing nothing, doing something super random? Because then I will take you up in my, blimp later on. Like, hey, don't worry, I got stuff we can do. All right, but I don't want someone who wants to go in the blimp right away and Instagram about it. You see what I'm saying? I want to go to the discount store to see if you can just relax being yourself. All these fucking idiots chasing something beyond themselves because they have nothing. I hate them so much. Listen, it's not like I was doing that for show. I've been containing that the whole time and just a little bit slipped out, but now I'm back to containing it again.
I didn't know you had a blimp.
More like a helium balloon.
What is it called? You want to come on my, after this discount store, you want to come in on a ride on my Hindenburg too? Oh, the humanity.
After this discount store. No, but seriously, I just think people are so fucking annoying. Like, listen, if you're suicidally depressed and you go to New York for the weekend to go shopping and that cures your depression, I'm sorry, but you're the stupidest person on planet Earth.
Why?
Because there is no geographical solution to an emotional problem, you fucking piece of shit. And so,
It's true.
yes, and so if you can actually fix your depression with some sort of weekend trip to some fucking stupid, idiotic city and be like, oh my God, so much fun, then, like, I'm sorry, but there's no hope for you in the coming apocalypse. And I hope you find no testosterone ampules.
Yeah, right.
No.
I think a lot of people would agree with you on what you just said, but I can't remember me saying that traveling is. What was the quote again? Traveling is.
Oh, no. It's like traveling and eating at fancy restaurants are my hobbies.
Yeah.
And it's like, just pause right there. Just the idea that you think that makes you interesting. I mean, if you go to Comic-Con dressed as a Ninja Turtle every year and, you collect stamps in some sort of underground tunnel in France, that makes you interesting.
I would agree.
Right. And like, not only that, but like if you have a job where you like climb huge antennas twice a year to like polish the bulb on top, like that's interesting. But most of all, it's interesting if you tell no one. If you need to market what you're doing to other people, you got nothing. And my hatred for you is infinite.
But is it a job to climb
Yeah.
polished
Oh, yeah.
bulbs?
Yeah, people get paid like $50,000 to do that stuff.
Right. But okay, but I would agree with this. I agree with my own statement that I've forgotten that I said. But when you are constantly showing what restaurant you've been to, what you've eat, what you ordered,
Yeah.
what you ate, and where you're going on a holiday, is a substitute of the lack of personality.
Yes.
It's like you think, if I eat here, I am interesting.
That's right.
If I travel there, I am interesting.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not. You will not find yourself interesting anywhere. Mm-hmm. You are, and I agree with you. I haven't thought about that before. But when people say, hey, I've been to like 100 countries and my next country I'm unlocking a country. Because it's always like, next country is this, unlocking. And then all the flags. You're actually showing the world how uninteresting you are.
No, but it's unbelievable the extent to which you're uninteresting if that's your promo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like nothing, you will not be fulfilled anywhere.
Ever.
Because that's what a lot of people think when they go, I have to go to, the popular one is Bali. Mm-hmm. I want to go to Bali to find myself. Right. Well, you won't find yourself there either. You won't. You are not a self. You are nothing. You won't, like, if you can't find yourself in your own living room.
Yeah.
You should
Start there.
No. I know exactly where you should go. You should go to Switzerland.
Yeah.
There's a pod waiting for you.
It's a pod with your name on it.
It has a name on you, and that's the flag you should uncheck on your Instagram. I'm unlocking the pods in Switzerland. That's where you should go.
I've been to 72 countries, and the next one's a pod.
The next one is a pod. That's where you will actually find happiness.
But here's what I find to be so difficult.
But can I just finish the point?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, because I think this is important for that point. Because when you then go to Bali, you couldn't find yourself. You go to Texas, you couldn't find yourself. You go to Hawaii, you couldn't find yourself. You go to Finland, you couldn't find yourself. Okay, you go to Switzerland. You go into the pod, and there's like buttons you have to push. Like, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, you're out. You're unalived, right? You're faced with danger. Do I want to continue life? Because when people climb onto the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco and they take a very good view over the city before they do the last leap of life, a lot of them regret on the way down. And then the ones who survive, they want to live after they've done that. And if you crawl into that pod, maybe you want to be alive in your own living room with your friends. Maybe you want to reconnect with family, people you've given up because they don't understand me because I'm special, right? Those people. When you then are faced with the last button in your pod, then maybe, you know what? This traveling bullshit is kind of passe. Maybe I should just join the bowling alley. Join my old dart club.
Or call up that guy who invited me for a date at the discount store.
Yes. Maybe he is the solution. Not Pedro down in Spain. And not that guy in Greece. Or that guy in the Caribbean. Yeah. I need perspective. That's what you need. You don't need another country. You need perspective. Yeah. And you will only find that in Switzerland in a pod.
With button 3.
With button 3.
Button 3 is the perspective button.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
No, it's just so You know what I think is the saddest thing of all? Like, people are so unconscious. Not that I'm not, right? I'm super unconscious, and no one's been stupider than me. But I have a certain ability to observe my own patheticness, you know, and in a respectable way, because I'm considering the pod. And this whole thing of like, you know, I usually say to people like, I love people who are humble and curious and don't take themselves too seriously. And 100% of people say, that's me. I'm like that.
Yeah.
100% of people. And that's how you know there's something unconscious going on. But here's how it plays out in real life. If you were to go to a person and you said, look, I'm going to give you $10 million and you can just travel the world for 3 years, but you can't post it on Instagram or anywhere, and you can't tell anywhere. Yeah. You have to tell people I'm going to prison for fraud. then I don't think most people would do it. No. Because it's all one big insane
circle jerk.
Yeah, or even worse than that, like if your personality is based on insecurity. And I know I'm not insecure. Why? Because I'm admitting I want a first date with a woman to be at a discount store with food that's about to expire.
About or has.
Nothing screams confidence like that.
Yes.
So all I'm saying, look, if you need to go to Paris, okay, and not only that, but like, look, if you can find joy at a discount store, you know, looking at, you know, a tin of fish that expired a week ago, going like, this is interesting. I'm having a good time here. Like, imagine how great your life is because you have low expectations.
But can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
If I gave you $10 million, and I said, hey, you can only go to discount stores.
Yeah.
But no, okay, let me rephrase. If I gave you $10 million, would you still go to a discount store?
Yeah, 100%. Because it's not even about the price.
It's not about the price.
No, it's so fun to find the deals.
It's about the deals.
It's about the deals. They're really fun deals.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great time finding a deal.
So even if you were Jeff Bezos, you would still go and like look at this chicken.
100%.
It's still one day left.
100%. 100%.
Right.
But you don't. But here's what's ironic, right? Most people want to become Jeff Bezos or date someone who's like Jeff Bezos, but you only become Jeff Bezos through the discount deals at the stores buying the food that's about to expire. You don't become Jeff Bezos through sushi restaurants and fancy boats.
Okay, sure.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I think because you mean he did drive a shitty car for a long time.
Yes. And
he like, hey, you made like many millions. This was like in the 90s, like early 2000s. He drove around in a Honda or something. Right. Like, why? You're Jeff Bezos. You're running Amazon. You made $10 million last year. Yeah. Why do you drive around in a Honda Civic or whatever it was? Right. He said, no, this is a perfectly functional car. Like, yeah, but like you can afford like I have no interest for that. And I think I would agree with you. That's kind of a discount store mentality.
Yeah, okay, but think about this.
This is perfectly nice fish. Okay,
look. I'm gonna perfectly explain this to you. One time, I went to Italy on vacation, and the airline lost my suitcase. So they gave me a bunch of money so that I could buy new clothes for that evening. So then, only place I could find was like some sort of Armani store or whatever, and then I bought like white Armani pants. I walked out of that airport. I spilled red wine all over the white pants, and then I got really drunk, and then I lost my watch and I lost my sunglasses. And then I just thought, what the hell is the point of this expensive stuff? Like, who do you fucking think you are? Who the hell needs this? It's the most unhuman thing ever. You're sitting in a restaurant, ooh, I'm so fancy. You're not fancy, you fucking moron. You're just a pathetic piece of shit like me. And so, and so here's the deal. If you pull up to a restaurant, an expensive restaurant, in a Maserati, in a suit, and you walk out of that car and then you trip and you face plant into a pool of mud, who's laughing now, right? But if you are just walking around in a t-shirt, okay, with like meatball stains on yourself, You know, people just discount you right away. They go, oh, screw that guy. He's nobody. But meanwhile, you're the real billionaire. But even if you're falling all over the place, nobody cares. So if you're trying to be fancy, the very essence of being human is a non-fancy state of being. So if you're trying for the suit, you're trying for the fancy car, you're trying for the, hors d'oeuvres or caviar, whatever the fuck you think you're doing, and then you trip and fall, now you look like an idiot. But if you just, crawl in there like the pathetic mess that you are, then you can only impress people. Like, oh, look at him. He put on a jacket. I never saw that coming.
I can't see you in white pants.
I know.
Why did you buy white pants?
That was all they had.
They only had white pants.
Yeah, but I hated them for it. Who the hell buys white pants?
You did.
Yeah, I did, because there were no other pants.
But why did you have to go to buy Armani pants?
It was the only store I could find. It was a small little village.
Small village? But only an Armani store?
Yeah.
Where the hell was this?
I don't know, in Italy someplace. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But
you went to a small village, and the only store they had was an Armani store.
I think those are the only pants that fit me. I think it was something like that. I know it was a fancy village because nobody had marijuana. No one would sell me marijuana.
All right, that sounds fancy.
It is. Yes, it was incredibly fancy. It was incredibly fancy. But look.
In conclusion.
Look, here's the deal. The only rule when I'm talking about this fancy, non-fancy is you got to smell good, okay? But as long as you smell good, okay, everything else is nonsense. You smell good because it's a common courtesy to other human beings. Smelling bad is like the most evil thing you can do to anyone. It's worse than being a mental patient stabbing people on a tram. So anyway, as long as you smell good, you can show up on your shitty bike in your shitty clothes, and people go, look at that loser. And if people go, he is so pathetic, I would never date him, then you've won. Because that's when people deep down respect you. Or to put it this way, the right people respect you. Well, the people you want to be around will respect you.
That is correct. So, what have we learned?
Look, if you haven't grasped the point at this point, look.
Yeah. If this hour didn't make any sense for you, look, then there's no hope.
Look, here's what you do. You go to Monte Carlo, okay? You get a small bike, okay? You get like some shorts that don't even fit you. You dishevel your hair, but you put on tons of cologne. You show up at the casino, and you go look. You go up to the prettiest woman there. You go, listen, there's a discount store with a bunch of food that's about to expire. Would you like to come with me? And most likely, if she's cool, because this is the test, she'll go, yeah. And then she'll hop on your tricycle, and you ride off into the sunset.
But there's a discount store in Monte Carlo?
Oh my God, the well-known,
the well-known discount store in Monte Carlo.
That's right.
Oh my God. Get your expired shark beef from the discount store in Monte Carlo.
Look, all I'm saying is my favorite thing in life, look, my cocaine use was unhinged, and it's very expensive.
Yeah.
And so, look, obviously, it's done no permanent damage to me.
No, absolutely not.
But now that I'm totally recovered from it and I'm the sanest person ever, I just love the idea of a good deal. I don't want to waste any more money. Like, I've wasted my quota for life. And so all I want is a great deal, okay?
Yeah.
And so, look, all these people want to go to a restaurant. Like, look at me, I'm fancy. I'm going to a restaurant. Like, there's no status in there. It's way more status finding some meat. It's about to expire. You take it home and you make something better than the restaurant. You eat it on your own porch in your boxers. Who's laughing now?
Yeah. Status is getting a discount meat. That's the new status. People, thank you. Good night.